morning, welcome back. It is Thursday. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic week. Today we're going to talk about changes in states of matter. So our three big states of matter are solid, liquid, and gas. And to change from one to another, you have to change the temperature. And each substance that we have here on Earth can change at a different temperature. But a lot of our liquids freeze at the freezing point, which is 0. And then a lot of our, when we get to the gaseous phase, it's usually at a boiling point, such as water, which is 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So there are a lot of things that fall into certain categories that change states of matter at certain temperatures. But we have a few exceptions. There are some really cool metals that you can put in your hand and they melt just with your body heat and things like that. So, but states of matter are really cool. So solid, liquid, and gas. So today we're going to take some liquids and we're going to make them solids. And then you can eat them, so it makes it even better. Good morning, Tammy. So today we're going to make ice cream in a bag. So I know when I was growing up, going to my grandparents' house, I remember making ice cream. And when we made ice cream, it was always in that big, it looked like it was wooden on the outside, like a wooden barrel, and it had this motor inside, and so you put the ice and the salt on the outside, and inside the container, then you put all the ice cream ingredients, and you turned on the motor, and it just rotated around, and it made ice cream. So when I started teaching 20 years ago, we actually would make ice cream in coffee cans. So I would have the big metal coffee can, and then the small metal coffee can inside, and it would be the same thing. We'd put the ice in the big coffee can, and then inside the small coffee can, we'd put the ice cream ingredients, and we'd roll it on the floor back and forth to each other. So these days, all the coffee canisters are plastic. The inside canister wouldn't work, but the outside one would. So you could still do it and use one of the big coffee cans, and then maybe put the ice cream in a baggie inside the big coffee can. Or you can just use baggies like I have here. So what I'm going to do is I already made one, so I've got a few flavors going here this morning. So, good morning, Jen. Yes, this one can get messy, especially because when you take this out, it's got salt all over the bag. But it's raining here, so we'll just do it in here. So I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of sugar. I'll show you the recipe in just a moment, and that way you can take a snapshot of it if you'd like to. I'm going to take half a cup of half and half. But you can use milk. I've done this with regular milk before with my students. Or you can use heavy whipping cream. Depends on how you like your ice cream. The other thing I've done with my students is, you know those little creamer cups you get, like if you go out to eat or something and they give you have coffee and you get those little creamer pods, those little things. You can put those in, and you don't have to mix this all up. You can just put the pods of creamer in there and they'll freeze up too. So you could get like the French vanilla creamer or something like that. So I have sugar and I have my half and half in here. And I'm going to put 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract in there just for flavoring. My first one I put peppermint extract. And then I also have banana extract sitting over here. So I am going to end up making, I think I can make 1 more out of this little carton. I should be able to get 3, maybe 4 out of it. So I'm going to have a couple different flavors of ice cream. The nice thing about this too is that it's portion control. There's a half a cup of ice cream in there. Oh, thanks, Marcia. I'm glad you're enjoying the experiments, and thanks, Tammy. I appreciate that. So I'm just kind of smushing it around here. So this is my vanilla, so I put a V on the bag, so I remember which one's which when I grab them out of the freezer later. And then all I'm going to do is put this inside this gallon bag that I have. And I've already put about 4 cups of ice cubes in there and 1/2 cup of salt. So I'm just going to put this in here. Seal it up really well. Make sure both bags are sealed really well, otherwise you get a big mess. And then I'm actually, using this just to hold on to it, and I'm just kind of shaking it around. And then you can kind of let it sit for a while and then shake it around some more. So I'm going to leave it in here for about 5 minutes, but while I'm letting it sit for a second there, I just want to mention that the reason that there's salt and ice in there, you know, as a kid, parents just put that in there. We had no idea why they put that in there. But scientifically speaking, the salt and ice combination actually allows what's going on in this outer bag, the liquid and the ice in that, to get to a temperature below freezing. So it's actually a couple degrees below freezing. That's why I have the washcloth or the towel or something like that to hold on to it, because it's very, very cold. So if I just put regular ice in here, it would just be at the freezing point. And if I put the salt in there with the ice, then it gets it lower than the freezing point, which is 0 degrees or 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. It's the same thing that we do in the winter time. You know, like when they go out and salt the roads, they're actually lowering the freezing point so that if there's snow or sleet or something falling, it's going to melt for a few more degrees. So, and that's also why salt only works to a certain temperature. So let's see, I have a few of these. Regular salt, I just used regular salt this morning. That's what I had here. And it works just fine. I already have a bag in the freezer ready for me. Not that I'm going to eat ice cream at 10 o'clock in the morning, but I could. So yes, I just used regular salt. You'll find that different salts might, you might have to shake a little longer or a little less. Anisar, yes. So that's the salt I used. So I'm just shaking it around for a few minutes here. Just letting all of that surface of the bag of ice cream in there touch the ice and salt and get nice and cold there. So while that's going, let me show you. Oh, so one thing, when you pull that inside bag out, there is salt all over the bag. So what I do is I rinse it off in the sink, just the outside of the bag, because otherwise, the salt's not getting into the ice cream, but otherwise you got that salt on the bag and it gets on your hands and everything. So I rinse it off and then I put it in the freezer for a little bit longer. But let me show you what it looks like. So here is my peppermint ice cream that I made right before we went live here. And you can see it's kind of like a soft serve texture. So after 5 minutes in the ice and salt, it's not solid ice cream like you would scoop out of a container, but you can put it in the freezer and it'll get hardened up after that. You know, Marcia, I really don't know the difference between regular salt and rock salt that they use for ice cream. I'll have to look that up. I'm sure at one point I knew, but I forget things. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? Yes, so I'm just shaking it around here. And like I said, I have, so this one's my peppermint. I have vanilla extract in there. I also have a banana extract, so that's my next one. So I'll have 3 different flavors of ice cream. And like I said, out of the half and half, I should be able to get 3, maybe 4 bags of single serve ice cream like this. So let me flip this around just so you can, in case you want to take a screenshot of the recipe there. In the little baggie, you put a tablespoon of sugar, half a cup of half and half, or milk, or heavy whipping cream, and a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And in the gallon baggie, I have 4 cups of ice cubes and half a cup of salt. Then shake for 5 minutes. You can eat it right away, or you can save it for later. Oh, Teresa, you did this one with your kids? Yes, that's a good one. And honestly, this would have been our last day of school, our last week of school. Would have been great to make some ice cream with the kids. It's a great experiment just to show changes in states of matter, but also how you can lower the freezing point by adding something to the ice. And then it's a good lesson too of what happens in the wintertime when they're out salting our roads, and lowering the freezing point so that we can drive when the temperature's pretty low and we've got ice and salt or ice and snow on the road. So that's what I have for you. Let me show you really quickly. Like I said, I used half and half. I did use regular table salt. My flavorings here are just the extracts that you get in the baking aisle. And I think that is it. Regular sugar. Yep, that's it. So you can try this with regular milk. You can try it with half and half, whipping cream, whatever your heart desires. And you can enjoy your single serve ice cream in a bag. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.